All right, so quick, I am going to attempt to explain volume raise. All right, so I had done this before in class. I am going to delete all of this. Okay. So let's look at our image. I've been messing with it from other things I've been showing you. So let's just turn that off. Let's say this is my image. So you would have a real painting or photo or video or whatever of like a daytime, nighttime, whatever your scene is outside. But let's say I want to have God rays streak into the window. Nice, pretty God rays. I can do that. So if I put in volume raise node, so the way that we use this on the hologram project, if anybody used it that way, was we hooked it up to the hologram to be our image. And that's basically something you need to remember here. Your image handle here is always going to be what you are trying to, like basically the thing that's emitting light. So the sky or the sun, like whatever your background thing is. So in our case of the hologram, the image was the hologram because that's the thing emitting light. So in this case, it'll be a constant for me. In the real world for y'all, it'll be an image of a city or sky or whatever you're sticking outside your windows. So don't use a constant. But if I view this, it looks weird. So if I move this around, the image this is working with looks like this. It's just a big flat white, well, bluish white volume. And if I move this piece around, you can see it's acting almost like a starburst where light is, shooting out of all the different points in it. And it's looking at this image that it's hooked into to inform where light goes. So if there was black hunks on this, it would not emit as much light. It wants bright stuff. So how do we hook this into our stuff over here? Well, typically, first of all, if I know my window is kind of in this region, I'm probably going to stick it kind of someplace over here and look at it. If I just take this and merge it on top of my image, it don't look so great. First of all, you can see it kind of gets chunky and weird here. Never over your volume raise. You always want a plus or screen. So plus is very bright. Screen is typically softer. It won't blow out as bad on you. This is one of the times that screen actually can give you some really nice results. Sometimes screen's great. Most of the time plus is good. I'll leave it on plus for now. But normally these are the sort of things, if you're getting weird hot spots, screen will help. But this doesn't look good. I'm getting some nice little streakies, but it looks like a portal, like just lighting up the entire room. Not really what I want. So where this would be helpful, if I look at my image, it's got the window pane. I should be able to see, if you really did a God ray coming through a window like this, you'd see lines in the middle of the volume rays for where all these crisscrossy lines are. So we can absolutely get that. And we can get that from our alpha. So the alpha has all that stuff. Look, this is literally just like almost, bars where it can say shine in the holes here only. So it means we can hook the mask handle up to our image with the alpha. So you can really do this at any point in the comp you want. If you really want to, you could literally kind of go all the way like up to here and hook into the beginning. You could hook into the beginning if you really wanted, but that's just messy. So if I know I'm viewing right here and I know I can see my alpha here, it's actually okay. I can hook this in here. If you want to be ultra neat and tidy about it, put a dot node and make it pretty. Well, let's go see. So by default, masking is not turned on. If you want to see a mask, you can hook it up. And most things in Nuke, when you hook the mask handle in, it automatically turns on the masking, not in a volume ray. So you need to actually come in here and say enable masking. And right off the bat, you're going to see a problem. So if I move this around, it's reacting how I want it to, kind of, but it's doing it only in the areas that are white. All my black areas outside my window are solid. So like in the real world, if I'm having light shine in a window, it's not going to come from the window panes and wood around the windows. It's going to come from these little holes. It's going to come from the rectangles where the glass is. So pretty easy. I can look at this and be like, well, it's doing the right thing, but the masking is just weird. Most likely I need to invert my mask. I couldn't tell you why you can't do that in here. You just can't. So your next best thing is to just do what it would be doing right before it gets in here. So this line right here is where it goes from here into the volume raise. If I stick an invert, it's just called invert, into this line right here. Now if I view this, you can see it's just going to do it to everything, but it basically just flipped my alpha. So now it's only seeing outside the windows. So before, after. Now, if I go view the volume raise, ooh, that looks right. That looks like what we want it to. Bad, good. So if I open this up so I can get my little volume position handle, now I can move this around and it looks pretty believable. Well, one thing you'll notice is this, if I go like put my point like at the windows basically, which a lot of people will probably try to do. If I go look at it on top of my stuff, it don't look so good. Does not look great. Because think of it this way, like the volume raise kind of like this would be like if somebody stood outside your bedroom window and shined a giant like headlight, flashlight type deal in your window. It's not the sun. The sun has directionality to it that works really well because it's so flippin' big and it's really far away from us. So to approximate that, we could literally move this farther away. The farther away from your source it is, like where you want it, it's coming through this window. If it's right here, it's going to be big and soft and starbursty. The more I start moving it off to the side, the more directionality I'm able to get to my light. But you can see it starts to get really faint, and that's because of the size. So by default, this volume position size at the bottom here is set to like 500. For most things, most scenes, it's actually pretty small. So if I scale this radial size up, you can see I'm starting to able to see a lot more. I want to go actually bigger than that. You're not limited by the numbers in here. You can always add your own. I'm going to go like nuclear with it so I can show you what I mean. If I make it real big, I still have room to move this back, and you can see the lines are becoming more parallel on these. Closer this is, it's more like a fan shape. Fan. Farther I move away, the more it tightens up into a straight line. So let's say, I'm going to show you what I'm thinking on this. So let's say maybe I like this for here right now. So remember, you come in here and you want to change this to very high under the quality. And that just does this. It smooths out all your stuff for you. If it's still a little too choppy, going from medium, like where it has all the banding like this, to high, like very high, you can throw a little bit of a blur on here and nobody will notice. But let's take a look at this and see how it looks. So it's very bright because I have it set to a plus. If I change this to like a screen, it would look better. So I'll probably leave that here for now. But let's say I'm trying to line up with like the actual sun that's in here, which is, if it's me, that was probably what I'd be doing. So if I am trying to do this, I'm like, well, I have a pretty clear indicator in my shot of where this stuff should be. Also, this is not near big enough. So I'm going to make the radial size a lot bigger. So that's close. It's not perfect. So I'm going to say for now, let's say for now that is fine. But let's say like I don't want all the streakies to be quite that long because that's crazy. You can always come in here and change the length until it's not a problem. So maybe I like that. Like I'm looking at it in here, you can kind of see what's going on. Not too bad. I might even come try and make this plus again. But now that would let you have God rays. So really the big key to remember with God rays is you need to hook in the mask but you need to hook it into the inverted version of your alpha of your image. So you basically can see just the little squares in the window, just like that. And then apply your volume raise, hook it into your background image, and then put that on top. And then you will have God rays. That actually doesn't line up. That's going to drive me nuts. Because you get this line right here. So that's me being a little OCD with it, but that would be how you would approach God rays.